2nd of August 2023. This Newsflash, I'm going to talk about BRICS and the issues that are developing in our society that can seriously affect our position in BRICS. Maybe not our membership of BRICS, but certainly our country's standing in BRICS. Early this morning, I got this message, and it says UNISA, BRICS and financing, BRICS financing and the new development bank overview. And it's about a panel discussion that will be held at UNISA. I'll come back to this document. First, I need you to take a look at this clip, and most of you have seen the clip, but I got to include it so that you can keep perspective. Listen to Malema.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa.
Now the unfortunate part for South Africa is that that clip has crossed the globe. It has gone viral and it's everywhere. And then you get a post on Twitter by a New York Times guy with a hell of a following, and he posts, "Shocking video shows South Africa's black party singing 'Kill the Boer, whites, kill the white farmer.'" And that tweet of his was retweeted by Elon Musk, but this morning when I made the clip, the screenshot, that thing has had over 18 million views. 18 million views. That is a lot. It has been retweeted almost 12,000 times. It has been quoted almost 5,000 times. So the fact is that that message is running wide. Now listen to this guy.
I like to make it very, very clear for those of you that are dunderheads, that can comprehend jack shit. Listen here. Julius Malema is working for the federal US government. Julius Malema is an illegal politician just like Cyril Ramaphosa. Nobody voted Cyril Ramaphosa into power, but nobody saw a talent of a politician in a young Julius Malema except the federal US government. So the rhetoric of kill the farmer, kill the Boer is used by the CIA to undermine the stability of the South African democratic system and the Voortrekker narrative that is peddled by the EFF, including the kill the farmer, kill the Boer, to instigate instability, to derail the narrative that we are supposed to be following in South African politics regarding BRICS, because we've got the BRICS Summit coming up. You understand? Julius Malema is trying to derail our South African political narrative to support a CIA agenda-based narrative.
That should be something that makes all of us think. And then we come back to that BRICS panel discussion that is planned for UNISA. The 2023 BRICS Summit is the 15th upcoming annual BRICS Summit in South Africa under the theme BRICS and Africa, Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development and Inclusive Multilateralism. The University of Johannesburg Institute for Pan-African Thought and Conversation, in collaboration with the Institute for Global Dialogue and the University of South Africa, invite you to a seminar to explore the economic dynamics and financial landscape of the BRICS nations, we will delve into the pivotal role played by the new development bank in fostering sustainable development and economic cooperation among its member countries. Our distinguished panel of experts will discuss the challenges, opportunities and future prospects of BRICS financing, finding valuable insights into emerging trends and collaborative initiatives within the influential bloc. Now, the reality that we are sitting with is that there's last time I checked was 62 countries that want to join BRICS. Now those countries, all of them, has got colonial pasts, and all of them had to deal with different levels of violence in their societies. Violence, in most cases, instigated by the CIA and Newland, we know that. But the reality is, those countries, the bulk of them, has managed to get their countries calm and is now growing, and they are looking for growth opportunities. And they see BRICS as the ideal platform for them to grow their countries better and more prosperous. And then here comes one of the prominent members of the BRICS countries. And Malema sings a song like this. It is tweeted and retweeted, it's on TikTok, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. It's on Telegram, it's everywhere. Clearly instigating genocide against the white population of South Africa. And I was in discussion threads on Telegram where some of these EFF members were responding to news articles posted about this, and they were trying to justify what was happening. And what for me was extremely obvious is that the bulk of the rest of the world do not want to hear this genocide shit. They don't want to hear about it. And those posters, those pro-EFF posters, were attacked like you cannot believe. I've never seen anything like that. And they were basically demolished. And in some of the groups, those posters from the EFF were chucked out of the groups. They try to justify what Malema says, and they come back and they've got all their apartheid shit and all of that. And there was in one specific chat, there was a Russian guy, and he said, but he's got a problem now. He is in the agricultural business. His company provides on-site maintenance and repair work for farmers. They repair harvesters and tractors and things like that there on site in the fields wherever they break down and so forth. And he said he was seriously considering to come to South Africa. But after he saw that Malema video, he immediately realized that he's going to have a major problem in South Africa because all his technicians are obviously white. And then the EFF guy responded to that and said, yeah, but you must understand, we love the Russians. And that Russian guy said to him, what the fuck are you talking about loving Russians? Do you realize that we are white and you promote killing whites? How do you justify that? Well, needless to say, that guy just evaporated. And then I've asked it many times. How is South Africa going to cope with white Russians coming to South Africa and want to invest in the country? the BEE thing is going to stop them in their tracks, because there's no way that sensible business people are going to give shares in their companies away. We saw what Musk did with Starlink. He did all the groundwork tests and everything, and then he was ready for deployment in South Africa, and then the ANC wanted to grab a part of his company, and he told them to fuck off, and he left. So that is the realities that's happening. But South Africa wants to act as if they are an important BRICS partner. But they're actually a major fucking embarrassment for other BRICS members. If you look at South America, Brazilians, a vast proportion of the Brazilian community can be seen as white people. The same with Argentina, even more than Brazil. How are those people going to cope if they have to come to South Africa? These are the things that the so-called intellectuals that discusses the BRICS and all of that here in South Africa, they pay no attention to that. They think that they can do these racist things in a bubble that is only visible in South Africa to the South Africans. They don't understand that the rest of the world sees it. Which international corporation with a majority of white shareholders is going to invest in this country? Which one? Under those racist conditions. Because most of those companies has got engineers and technicians that are white. So they can't send those guys here because those guys will get killed here. That is the reality of where we are today. And then we heard Malema declaring his undying love for Putin and all of that, without for 1 second taking into account that President Putin is a white man. Plus, President Putin is not a fucking idiot. He didn't pass his matric with a lot of F's. The guy is a qualified lawyer, a very intelligent guy. And then this oak declares his undying love to Putin. But in the next sentence, he says, kill the white people. And Putin himself is white. I had an interaction on Twitter with a guy, a black guy, an EFF guy, and in his bio, it was racism like you cannot even begin to imagine, and derogatory things about whites. But he's in a thread declaring his love for Putin. And I said to him, listen, just tell me one thing. What do you think the Russian security services are going to say? They see you talking about Putin here on Twitter, and they check these things. And then they click on your bio and they see that in your bio. What are they going to think? And poof, the guy gone. So this is the type of hypocrisy that we have to face. But the reality is, as we look at, I'm in one or two of these BRICS groups, and I see there, and they're all starry-eyed and full of big plans, and the BRICS Bank is on the front of everything, and they want to know how they're going to get capital from the BRICS Bank and things like that. And I have said it in a previous Skidmark, the BRICS Bank is not a charity institute. But the reality is, all these upcoming nations has gone through trauma in their societies, and they've managed to solve and resolve their problems. And here comes Malema, a prominent South African politician, and he declares publicly and now internationally, kill white people, kill the boer, kill the farmer, kill the white people. And all these other countries, they see this, they hear this. And the scary thing for most of them, and I think the most distressing thing for all of them, is that our president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is quiet about it. He doesn't say a word. He does not say a word about it. The President of South Africa. Now all these BRICS fans here in South Africa, how do you think you are going to mingle with representatives from other BRICS countries and those people ask you about Malema, they ask you about Cyril's quiet behavior? How are you going to respond? How are you going to manage that? You know you can't manage it. But in any case, I'm a white guy, and so whatever I say is racist and racism, and you don't need to listen to me. But that's your problem. You listen to nobody. Plus, your biggest problem is you cannot see that an incident happens here in a stadium, but there are repercussions. And that is said by the American military code. They may not employ a person with an IQ lower as 85, because the biggest problem with an IQ lower as 85, they cannot think consequentially. They cannot. There's your problem. But this is the reality that you have to deal with. And then I'm going to show you the panel of that discussion. And look at the second one there. Professor Irina Yaragina, head of the Department Economical and Banking Business, MGIMO University, Russia. So, if she is confronted by somebody in the discussion group about the racism and the BEE in South Africa, how is she going to respond to that? What worse, what if she addresses the question, there is major issues on the horizon for South Africa in BRICS. I don't think that our position in BRICS is in danger, but definitely our status and our influence is in severe trouble. I read some articles that at that meeting in St. Petersburg of the African leaders in Russia, a hell of a lot of the African leaders didn't mingle with Ramaphosa. And in one of the chats, I followed the chat, and I asked, why do you think that happened? And within a short while, there was a hell of a lot of answers. And 9 out of 10 of those answers, the guy says, we don't trust that guy. So South Africa, think about this. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. And I want to thank the people that are supporting the channel financially. It really makes a difference. Thank you.